Hello and welcome you all in this session. Myself, Assistant Professor Ripal Gupta from LJ School of Law. Today I am going to discuss on the subject of legal theory, in which I am going to discuss on the topic of Natural School of Law. Now, Natural School of Law, it resembles its own name in its theory. Natural School of Law based on the principles of morality and justice. What according to human, what is morality, what is ethics, what is justice for him is Natural School of Law. Natural School of is not like the power of this name in the hands of sovereign or the interpretation or the judicial precedents, but it's depend on the justice and morality. It depends on the human nature. Natural School of Law is not rigid in its sense. It is, you know, it is change with the society. It change with the nature of the human. So it is ever growing theory. So in you can see Natural School of Law in today's era also, that we are following Natural School of Law. So it depends on the morality grounds, the moral of the humans. It basically follow the principle of natural justice. Now what is natural justice? Natural justice depends on one maxim, that is audi alteram partem. That means heard the other side. That means you believe in the natural justice, you believe in the morality. What is morality as a human being? That is law for me. For me, morality is to help another person. Morality is for me not to commit any crime. So for depending on that, I'll make my laws. The morality is on justice. I heard the other parties, be it his whether he is criminal or not. I will hear him. That is justice for me. So Natural School of Law is depend on the morality and justice of the human behavior. What exactly morality for a human? That is a Natural School of Law. Now, Natural School of Law or its theory has been divided into four stages. First is ancient theory, second is medieval theories, third is Renaissance theories, and fourth is modern theory. So, Natural School of Law aspect has been changed in this all theories. So, now we'll discuss the ancient theories. So, now we'll discuss the ancient theories. Ancient theories has been propounded by Socrates, Plato, and many other authors. Basically, ancient theory relies on the human insights. As a human, what is good and what is bad for me, it is law for me. So for any person, what is goodness, what is badness, it is his insights, and that insights will prevail in society, and that is a law for me. So for me or any human being, in a general principles, what is good is for the welfare state. It bad, that's a crime, are bad for society. This is law for me. So Natural School of Law, ancient theories depends upon the insights of a man. What man thinks good and bad for me, it is law. So for him, it's better to take poison to save a law rather than break the prison and drain out of from it. So for him, what is good for my society is good. It should be a law for me, and what is bad, I should protect it from my through the legal provision. So it is all depending upon the human nature, about the insights of human, that what is good and what is bad for me. It's a Natural School of Law in the ancient time. Second theory is medieval theories, and this theory has been propounded by the Aquinas. This talks about the general good. In ancient theory, it talks about the man's insight. In medieval theory, it has just expanded its view and says that it is not a human good, but it is what general good for society. It should be the law. There should not be a man-to-man law. There should be a general laws which are good for at general level. That is benefit for society at general level. So there is society which should be based on common good and a common welfare state manner. That is a medieval theories. The next is Renaissance theory. This theory depends on social contract. It says that before ancient times we don't have either government or don't have any laws, but we have social securities. So gradually we protect ourselves, we protect our property, through which we make laws, through which society came into existence. So this says that it is all about social contract, it is all about social needs. What to protect ourselves, to protect our society, to protect our property. Gradually society came into existence and gradually we evolved the law for protecting us, for our interest. So it is about social contract. So through this, when society came into existence, we have to obey certain laws. We have to respect each other. So this is how the idea of law came into presence. That for having a general good society, for having the general laws, we should have to divide certain rights. We have to have some certain freedom, certain responsibilities, certain duties as a citizen, and then after we can enjoy our rights. So it's all about Renaissance theory, which says that gradually after some time, when we discovered our rights, when we discovered that we need a society where we should have law which protects us, through which for that we have to respect each other. So for that we do agreements with other people for business, and for that we make a general business law, that how can we good trade in society. So this is how what Renaissance theory talks about, that it is all about social contracts. So this theory propounded by the Gaussius and Hobbes, which talks about the social contract. It says that it is not about a human or the sovereign power, it is about the general aspect, it's about the social aspect. What actually society we want to live in. This is about natural school of law, and this is how we make laws for it. It's not about the one person or one community that has power in their hands. It is about general people wants, general people needs, and this may be changed according to their needs. So this Renaissance theory talks about freedom and equality amongst the person. They have derived it through agreements. So it is about natural school of laws, Renaissance theory. And the last is modern theory. Now, modern theory is propounded by the H.L.A. Hart, who is the prime author of this theory. In the 19th century, this theory has suffered through its decline. They are not accepted, this theory. But in 20th century, H.L.A. Hart propound that there should be limited scope of natural law, but there must be a natural law thinking while you make the laws. Yes, a society could have a general law on the principles of moral justice and ethics, but this cannot be a core reason for development of law. Yes, there can be morality through which we can derive law, but it cannot be a moral one, only one ground, only one source. So according to him, the natural school of law will change according to society's change. This is how the natural school of law will work for this. So they used a list work of natural school of law in the 20th century, and they approach towards the more on the general law aspects for the people. In India, you can see the examples of natural school of law in quasi-contract, in law of torts, in fundamental rights, and different types of rights available in different laws. So in India, we also follow the natural school of law, through the where you can see the equality, right of equality, rights of personals, legal right, right to have property, to do agreements. So we do follow natural school of law. So this is all about natural school of law. It talks about four types of theory: ancient theories, medieval theories, Renaissance theories, and modern theories. So ancient theory talks about the human insight. Medieval theory talks about common good about society. Renaissance theory talks about the it talks about general rights and freedoms of the human, and last modern theory talks about this use of nature school of law in the implementation of law, but it should be there for the common good. So it is all about natural school of law. Thank you.